Welcome to June 1st and seeing how far and what I've accomplished off of my vision board. Hi, and welcome back to KK Cabaret, where we talk all things vintage, fashion, glamour, crafting, sewing, knitting, and everything in between. Honestly, I just talk about anything that I am hyper fixated on that month. So, welcome. It is June 1st. Happy birthday, Marilyn Monroe. She would be 100 this year, and she's like a huge inspiration in a lot of us vintage girlies' lives, but like huge inspiration in my life. So I just wanted to give her little ta-da moment, because she is the ta-da moment. It is June 1st, 6 months into 2026, and I can't believe we're halfway through the year. I am still in shock. But I thought it would be fun to go over my 2026 vision board and just see all of the things that either I have accomplished or have yet to accomplish, and kind of just see what I'm going to do going forward for the last half of the year. It is summer break, so I have children you may hear in the background, and I also always have fur babies moving around, so I apologize for that in advance. Now let's get into my vision board. I don't always show my vision boards because to me they are like little bits of magic. I have put all of my thoughts and feelings into manifesting or becoming onto this piece of paper that I hang in my room all year long. Sometimes I hang it for longer than a year depending on if I've accomplished what I put on my board. This year I kind of kept it simple goals, simple things that I knew I wanted to just emulate and become and have be part of my life, so that that can always be my life from here on out. So let's go through my beautiful, obviously my favorite colors, pink and green, are very much so showcased. My vision board. This is my beautiful vision board for 2026, and the tape is still on it because I just ripped it off my door. So over here, we see like some fashion stuff because I'm a fashion girly and I absolutely love fashion. I loved this closet because it kind of just like, even though it looks organized, it also reminds me of my closet. Just a total mess. I think my dog is choking on something. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. It was distracting me that something was choking in the background. Okay, also, I wanted to just take a time out to talk about what I'm wearing. I made this out of an old dress. So it's not me made, because this is literally the bodice part of an old dress that was given to me, which I'm sure was fast fashion, because I've seen this type of print on all kinds of fast fashion dresses. But I hated the dress because it was a maxi dress, but it like, this was where the waist like kind of went into this balloony type skirt, and it made me look 9 months pregnant. I was not down. I ended up just cutting the skirt off and made these little like straps that tie in a bow in the back. And the straps are actually the side seam that goes all the way down the side of the dress. And then I use the fabric from the skirt portion as a mock-up for a shirt that I made for Viva. So that was a fun project, and that was quite a few years ago. But I'm kind of going through my closets and my drawers and just seeing if there's things I still want to keep. So today I pulled this out and I was like, I'm gonna wear it, and if at the end of the day I like it, then I keep it. If at the end of the day I'm like, I could live without it, then I'm going to get rid of it. Back to my beautiful vision board, where we're gonna start up in this corner over here about fashion. I love this. I wrote custom made fantasy style, and there's all kinds of cool things like purses, gloves, lipsticks. Honestly, this is just like an inspiration board, not really things that I need or want, but they're things that I think are really cool. Okay. Obviously, there's nothing that I need, right? I don't need anything. I am in my 30s and I own everything I'll ever need to own for the rest of my life. And that's not a lie. Like, I think that's pretty true for a lot of people. They just continuously shop. I don't have the intention to shop anymore. That's why I have right here, it's like a low buy year. Mostly I just want to either make things that I find interesting or that I'm inspired by. I want to make them come to life. So that's more of like an art. If I see something and I'm like, oh my God, I want to make that come to life, then I'm going to make it. But honestly, is there a need in my closet? No, I have a million pieces of clothes. Been making clothes and shopping for my whole life. So there's nothing that I need. It's all things that I want. And I don't want to be shopping all the time. So I just put like making a custom made fantasy wardrobe is like what I mean when I'm saying like I see something and I want to artistically bring that to life. And that's kind of what I've been doing this year. I feel I love to recreate vintage looks. I love to see something and be like, I can make that, and then test myself in making it, which I've definitely been doing. I would love to organize my closet and organize my stuff just a little bit more. Out with the new, in with the old, vintage style. So that's just like a little motto that I put on there because I love vintage style. I don't like modern fast fashion or anything like that. And I know it's all mimicking vintage looks anyway, or looks of the past, but it's not with the same quality. So I would rather not buy anything new. The quality is downhill, and it's just, yeah, it's not, yeah, I'd rather make it or have it already. You know what I mean? I do want to do like some clothing swaps with people that I know have the same kind of clothing values as me. I don't want to have a clothing swap with a bunch of people that also have a bunch of shit from Shein. You know what I mean? Because then they're going to want my clothes and it's not from Shein. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. So, sauciness aside, I really love that I put these girlies in here because their style is really out there, and I'm kind of trying to embrace like my rebellious fashion side that I've always had, where I do not want to fit in. I don't want to fit in anywhere anymore. I want to fit out. Like I've always been like an outcast or like the outside of fashion, like where it's like alternative to what everyone's wearing, and I want to go even further. As I get older, I'm just getting further and further away from standard. I don't want to be anywhere near standard. So I love this. I put serving looks because it's just like such a look. If you've seen this walking on the street, I live in California, so it's not so strange to see people dressed up in any which way that they want, fashion wise. But I just say like that's a jaw dropper. Like I would look at them and be like, wow, I like your style, you know? Another thing I put on here was getting into knitting and doing other types of crafts so that I can go phone sober, which is like a huge, huge goal. I am so sick of my cell phone running my life and also my cell phone running my family's lives. Like you get sucked into it and you don't pay attention to anything else, and it like breaks my heart. It literally breaks my heart. So like I have a toddler and she doesn't have a tablet or anything like that, but we all have these tiny devices like glued to our hands. And half the time, you know, she's like trying to get someone's attention, and it takes us like 10 times for her to say something before we're getting through. And that's just me being transparent. Like that's horrible. And it makes me cry at night. So I would love to just go phone sober and spend more time crafting and being with my kids and stuff. Also reading more real books instead of like digital books. And there's nothing wrong with my digital books. It's just like I'm more I like digital books like Audible and stuff when I'm sewing or something, but I've been having a book by my bedside table at night, and I've just read a book to go to bed instead of scrolling like I usually do. So that's been really nice. I actually really love this, and it says, I don't know what that says at the bottom. Doom scrolling. Okay, read more books instead of doom scrolling. So it's basically what I just said. I do not want to doom scroll, especially at night. And so I've just been reading my book. And that's been a mystery book that I got for free. So that was cool. That's been cool, and I do enjoy that. Knitting, I've really gotten into knitting, and I really enjoy it because honestly, both of my hands are busy, so I am nowhere near like scrolling on my phone. Sometimes I do put on a book or I put on a video, but lately I've just enjoyed like listening to the sound of my house and my kids and not being on anything. So that is like my biggest thing that I'm trying to do. And I feel like now that we're halfway through the year, it's like that's just beginning. That's like kind of what I'm going into. But as far as the fashion stuff, I feel like that's already like always in my heart and in my mind and at the top of what I do. Plan weekly outfits, shop your closet low by year. So I was planning weekly outfits and shopping my closet, of course, that's every day. But I was hospitalized in February, and when that happened, it threw a wrench in all of my stuff, which is where I was getting to like my health stuff. I wasn't able to lift weights. I wasn't able to exercise the same way as I was before I was hospitalized. So now that everything has been cleared and I'm not on meds and I'm not having the same types of symptoms, I am able to go back to working out and doing all the things that I was used to doing. So that I feel like is really going to pick up in my second half of the year. Also, like starting in summer is when I really, really love to exercise because I love to go hiking. And so that's when the weather's the best. So the weather's been really great. And this week I plan on starting my hiking again. Also, like I want to start like a women's collective. Before I had my baby, I would always do like yoga groups and Reiki groups and stuff like that, and I really miss stuff in that area of my life. Like it was really grounding, and so I would like to bring some sort of that back. I wrote down like yoga therapy groups, mom and me groups, stitching bitches, like where I can probably pull in some of the crafting into the group stuff. And I also just want to live and be bolder in life. I want to take a little bit more risks. I've been living in a lot of fear, so I want to get rid of all of that. Which leads me to anti-inflammation is like this huge thing at the top. It says avoid inflammatory foods, of course, but also avoid inflammatory people and situations. Choose peace. So I've really been doing that because I have stopped talking to certain people and I've cut certain people out of my life, which sounds really mean, but there's people that were dragging me down or dragging my mood down all the time. I've cut that part out of my life to try to make my life a little bit better, a little bit more peaceful. I don't want to go into the next phase of my life with a lot of anger and stress. Healthy lifestyle, which is like all my favorite foods. I love salads. I love broccoli, strawberries, berries. I love blueberries. That's like my favorite fruit right now. Beet juice, any kind of juices. I actually really love to juice. And I want to get back into weightlifting. I never did anything crazy, by the way. I'm not into like heavy, crazy weightlifting, but I do like to do my little exercises that I was doing. I love yoga and meditating. I journal all the time anyway, and then I miss my hiking. So I want to just bring back my daily routines that I've gotten really thrown off of, and that was just because of my health stuff. So now I feel like that is the second half of the year. I could really build on this side and not so much worry about the superficial side. This is more like, whole body, wholesomeness over here. So, and then I would like to just bring it all together. So I feel like I have a lot to work on this side of the year. You know what I mean? Like I've already got this side pretty down, We're working on the going phone sober and then getting into knitting. And I've got to work on, I already am a vegetarian, so I eat pretty healthy all the time anyways, but I really want to get back into like the body health, like the exercising every day and focus work and stuff like that. So this is my 2026 vision board. I want to be able to see beauty in everything around me, and I feel like I do. I see everything as an opportunity. So I'm happy and content. I feel like the first half of the year was pretty rocky and scary, and I don't want that to go forward in my second half of the year. And as far as like crafting, like sewing and the fashion, like I said, my goal is to slow everything down. Knitting has been slow. So like it's a slow fashion hobby. You really have to take time and focus, and I loved it. I've been loving that part of it because I'm very proficient at garment making. I can make a dress in a day. So if I needed a quick win, I can make a dress in a day. But I've really been enjoying the slowdown and the process, because knitting is you're making a garment, but it's also you're building the fabric. Sorry, my dog went nuts. But like I was saying, like in knitting, you're actually building the actual fabric. You are building it stitch by stitch, the fabric, into what you are making. So instead of cutting into fabric and sewing it together, you're building it. And I feel like that part has really amused me and really kept me attracted into all of this. So that is where I'm at with my 2026 vision board. I feel like I was a little bit ahead, more than what I thought I was, and I'm very excited to go forward. On Friday, I will be posting my summer sewing list, because there is still some summer sewing I would like to be doing for my summer wardrobe. But this was just a little fun, like, hey, we're halfway through the year. Do you make a vision board? Do you make resolutions every year? I know some people are very against resolutions nowadays, and I think that's silly, because I think it's fun to just do something. I think everyone's always like, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds, and then you gain 20. But I think that's kind of a superficial one that everyone has in the back of their head. I'm wondering if you had set any goals that you've met. Have you set any goals that you know you will meet by the end of the year? Or are you ahead of the curve? Are you behind the curve? Do you not like goals? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, because I will be posting again on Friday and then again on Monday like I do. And I will see you guys in the next one.